So let's do another review here on, I've got 2 second-year kids and 2 first-year kids here. Same blocking drill. I did a previous review on some first-year kids, so let's look and see what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong, and kind of pick them apart and critique them and help them to get better. First thing I want to look at is, again, angles. I think in the last video we looked at some really off angles with some of the younger kids, where their backs were at 115 degree angles, 113, 110 around there. But let's look at these guys. Let's see, this is Robbie, who is a first-year player, although he's in 5th grade. So if we kind of do the ear hole to the back of the hip and then straight down, oh my gosh, we actually see that he is 90 degrees. So his butt is actually up a little higher, which is really good because he's playing defense in this case. Atticus is also playing defense. He's over here, so let's look at his back here really fast. Go here, go straight down, and that's about, again, 93. So again, his butt's up there pretty good, pretty flat back, good stuff there. So let's undo that. Let's look at the other 2. This is first year 4th grader, Big Mike. So we'll take that to the hip and then down, and what do we have? Oh my gosh. I don't think that's quite the straightest line, but again, pretty close. I mean, I think that looks really good. And finally, let's look at Garrett. Garrett is a little bit, yeah, 94, 95, pretty good. All these kids really good on their backs, really good in these stances. I don't have a whole lot to complain about here. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to complain about at all here. All right, so let's look at them. Let's see what they do here. The first thing we want to look at is these 2 in this case are on offense, and these 2 are in defense. And so yeah, and this was an offense day, so we can really look at that, I guess. So as we kind of roll the wheel forward here, let's look at Atticus and Garrett first. Garrett is usually the best blocker on the team, the best technique on the team. Even though he's not the heaviest, he's really a beast to deal with and really uses his size and leverage very well. And so let's look at him where he's offense. Where we did the drill, did he take the steps forward to engage, and did he move his guy back? And so as we look at this, we see that Atticus gets basically 2 steps down, and if we're looking at the middle of the, well, dang it, let me undo that. Let's try this. That's still not good. I'm not eyeballing this very good. I apologize. All right, let's try that. That's close enough for government work. All right, so let's say that that's line of scrimmage, middle of the ball. As we roll forward, we can see that that line kind of moved there, but we can see that Atticus gets basically 2 steps down and is engaging Garrett on Garrett's side of the ball. No question about that. Atticus fires off, gets forward, engages Garrett on his side of the ball, and so if you're just looking at just this aspect of it, Atticus would win this, but Atticus makes a really crucial error here. He is much higher than Garrett. If we look at it, Atticus's head and shoulders are right here, and so Garrett's head and shoulders are right here, so Garrett is well underneath Atticus at this point, even though Atticus is on his side of the ball. And so as we kind of roll this forward, we can see what ends up happening is that Atticus for a second there has him, but because Garrett is under him, Garrett, it puts him on kind of his roller skates and pushes him back. So again, that's kind of a good news, bad news type thing. Garrett obviously ends up kind of winning that battle, but if he would have come out firing with that being that low, if he'd come out firing, then he would have knocked Atticus off the ball immediately and wouldn't have taken a few seconds to allow his leverage to take effect and push him back. So now let's look at these other 2 really fast. These are both, again, first-year players. Big Mike outweighs, in this case, Robbie, who is still circled there. Robbie is right around 143 to 145 pounds. Big Mike is about 166. So there is a little bit of a weight differential here. And oh, by the way, Atticus outweighs Garrett by Atticus is about 138 pounds right now, and Garrett is 117. So Garrett being outweighed is still, with his superior technique, is really doing well. So all right, let's get back to these two big kids. Again, you know, they're both first year players. Okay, so we have to keep that in mind. You know, when we analyze them and look at them, that they're not necessarily you know, doing things completely wrong, and they're doing some really good things here. But let's look at what we can improve on. Right out of the gate, Robbie kind of stands up, but he fires off very, very quick with his feet. Robbie is very athletic with his feet and has been really, really good. So as that defensive player, you know, he kind of didn't get as low as he wanted to, but he does fire off, and he does engage Mike well on Mike's side of the ball. But in this case, both of these players are standing very, very vertical at this point. This is the old patty cake game that we all talk about. So you know, if either one of these players had come out low, they would have beat the other one handily. But because they both kind of stood up, and then they just kind of get in this shoving match, and then it's about trying to figure out who can get lower and who can get the leverage. And as we kind of look at it, even though Mike outweighs him, it took a while for Mike to begin to push Robbie back before we ended up blowing the whistle. So, you know, verdict on these guys is we just have to, especially on offense, we have to be able to, because as we look at it, you know, I mean, let's pay attention to this step. We worked on this drill where, again, that step is only supposed to go forward to, you know, about here. Okay, approximately that would be a pretty good, you know, first step, and then that second foot can then come forward and follow, and he'd then be engaging his man hopefully upwards in that type of direction. So, you know, but as we look at it, you know, that step, because he stands up, that step is I don't know if I can get a measurement on that. I need to get more of my skills here. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I can't do that. That doesn't work. All right. So, but I don't know. If we measure from here to here, I don't know what size shoe Mike wears, but I mean that's got to be at least a 1.5 foot step forward. So it's definitely not a 6 to 8 inch step. And because of that, you know, he's susceptible to getting pushed this way or that way. It doesn't really matter. He's not really in a good football position there, and so. But because Robbie was also high, it just becomes kind of a little patty cake shoving match. So anyway, we got some things to work on, but good things, bad things there. Stance is good. You know, staying low and coming out low and firing low, not so much. But anyway, it's good to learn from it.